that can impede on the ability to achieve those key results that you want. And as investors, it's always very nice for you not just to look at the positive, but to also look at the potential negative. Now, once these risks that could stand as impediments are clear to you, then you now start mapping out solutions on how to mitigate the risk. And honestly, that's where we at Tangerine do actually come to play. You will find out when those risk exposures are clearly identified, you will find out that the bulk of them are actually insurable. They are transferable to practitioners that master the art of managing your risk. And I'm sure that once or twice or at some point in time or the other in the course of your play in this space, you will have heard of Agric insurance. Not so many farmers do have one. Unfortunately, people who have this not too good impression about insurance in terms of, does it meet up with the obligation? Will I give you my money and at the end of the day, when the issues come up, you are going to pay? I can tell you for free that in English, most of these narratives about insurance are more things in the past. They don't exist anymore. One of the things we do at Tangerine is to be able to sit down with you as practitioners, show you in detail, step by step, on exactly what is covered and what is not covered, and clearly give you bespoke solutions that will meet your own peculiar needs. We are an organization that just don't want to shoot out products. We are an organization that wants to prefer solutions that is particular to your line of business. And that's part of the reason why we have come here. We have said to ourselves that the Agric part of LCCI, we want to be part of it. We want to contribute our quota to see how we can help Agric yourself develop and achieve the financial objectives that they have set out from the beginning. And I can tell you for free that if you do partner with us, just like you're willing to partner with us, you can go to sleep with your risk with us. Now, what are those obvious risks that as farmers you are exposed to? You have there are different aspects of agri. You have the crops, you have livestock. We have had situations where there's a nasty flood and the entire farmland consumed and then you lose all your produce, even before they are due for harvest. Now, you've invested so much money in that stage. How do you get back what you have lost? And that's where we actually come to play. It has come to a point, and I say to people every time, that insurance really is the backbone of every economy. And for any economy to thrive, we must begin to find a way to prioritize just in case anything does happen. That's the message we have from Tangerine. And we have our stand somewhere there. We are willing to take any questions from you. To address where you can address their concerns. All right, I'd like to announce that earlier in the day, skip the minister's. I'm told we now have that in a video format, but that will be after we have the second session of our music performance by YL. He is the winner of the Voice of Nigeria Season 2. Let's put that together again for the second time here today. YL. Please, let's put that together for this.
Hold on. This MC has to bring me 2 times on stage. But anyways, thank you. I hope you all enjoy yourselves right now. Are you enjoying yourselves? Yeah or me? Okay, I was supposed to do a full performance, but I have a show, so I'm just going to say thank you to Mr. President for allowing me to come back. I'm just going to do an acapella so you guys can enjoy my voice because you know what I'm doing. Them say I know fresh, so I know Casamigo. Because I know drive come, them no grief follow me go. Now because I know hustle, if not my skin for don't yellow. But I know settle this now, only God knows. Say, Baba, answer me, Baba, answer my prayer. I definitely caution you because I get bread, give me butter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, this dear pressure don't make me get tired. I don't roll my wheel tiger. She be help me to drive my. Korobo, 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 ogonomo kirimo kemeta. Via via teme korobo, oh oh, korobo, korobo, ogonomo kirimo kemeta. Via via teme korobo. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, please, there's a presentation for you. But we have said you should be going while I take the presentation, but it will be useless for me. I don't know. I like the president of the chamber, our leader, our father, the all citizen of this chamber, Mr. Gabriel is also here to make this presentation. Mr. President, let's now
when the Agric experts who was making a presentation, young people taking the world and driving the new Nigerian economy. That has already exploded in the creative and entertainment industry. And it's not a surprise that when you go around the world as a Nigerian, more people will know about this Burna Boy than who is the president of Nigeria. And that's just what is happening. So I'm very happy for you that you have a track, and I will have to hear and see more of you.
Thank you so much. All right. We like to have, if the technical team is ready. Yes.
The President and Chairman of Council, the President, Vice President, Council Member, Exco Member, Chairman Agric Group, distinguished guests, esteemed Agric professionals, business leaders, investors, and Agric enthusiasts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to address you at this pivotal global Chamber of Commerce and Industry Agric Symposium and Fair. Regretted views and the mobility of working with the National Economic Council Commissioners. However, I am committed to visiting the Chamber of Industry. The Agric Symposium and Fair is granted permission for Nigeria's principles. There are opportunities waiting to be. As we gather, let's focus on turning our challenges into opportunities. The administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu this year is dedicated to making Nigeria the productive of both African and African. And this requires collaboration between the government, private sector, and especially about the youth.
Thank you so much for that very short, good message from the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Nigeria. You agree with me that this event has what it's staying up to now. We have the Lagos State Governor is represented here, the Commission of Agriculture, Lagos State. So now we have the Minister. All right, we'd like to go to the last presentation for today. Like our sister said the other time, Moro, talking about the youth and young people getting involved in agriculture. So next, we'll have is the MD Corporate Farmers. Let's welcome Aki Alabi as he speaks on youth engagement in agriculture and technology in agri. Aki Alabi, please. Thank you. I will collect our phones. We are not clapping for this young man. When you look at his brand, you know that he's bringing different feel and enthusiasm into agriculture. Once again, let's clap for Aki Alabi as it takes 10 minutes presentation. Yes.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. While we still proceed with the existing protocol, my name is Aki Alabi, and I'm honored to do this afternoon with everybody. In fact, we've heard a lot of conversation from it's quite interesting for me. My leader, Madam Osumona, has said quite a lot. I'm not going to drill down into the conversations again. We're going to make it more practical so that we can kind of understand what has been displayed and how it works in reality. And I have just 10 minutes to do that. So to do that, please can I have just 5 volunteers, young folks, 5 volunteers, 5 volunteers, 1. I need 5 people, please. Yeah, 5. Please, a female too should be included. Just 5 volunteers will be great with me. 1, please come on, come to the stage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, John, I'll make it 6. I'll just have to extend the value chain. All right, so please let me just stretch it a little bit. I have 10 minutes to just do this. Now, I want us to understand something. What we've had here today is an encompassing of a complete ecosystem of agribusiness, from production down to the tiny value chain, which actually comes to the final home where the consumer feels it. So it means that whatever A is producing, at the end of the day, or whatever process it is, from production, processing, marketing, logistics, at the end of the day, it gets to the home and the consumer. Now, we've heard everything that has been said here today from since we started. It's all about agribusiness, participation, collaboration, advocates for funding, and a whole lot of conversation has been said. So what I want to do basically is just to use human capital and how you here to now identify a value chain which you can begin to invest in, participate in, or form a collaboration. And here it goes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 humans here, and each of them will be representing a value chain. a specific value chain. Now we start from here. Now, what is your name, ma'am? Now, Adebayo here represents, let me just create a value chain. Let me say she's a tomato producer. She's into tomato production. Okay? Let's from that. So I don't know. I want to tell you it's a Kwame. Now, Kwame here is a producer. Do you understand? She's a producer in the so if she produces tomatoes, then it processes into another value chain, or then let me take it to your brother here. What's the name, sir?
Seriki Masuri Olani.
Now, let me name Seriki here as a logistic person. So Seriki probably the transporter in most commodities. Let me just call you Seriki when you want to. Great. What's the name, sir? Costing. Okay, costing here. Let me give you a value chain. Currently, is a marketer. Okay. That's what I want to give to you. He's a marketer. He moves it from one destination to another. What's the name?
Okay.
Okay, okay here is let us give her okay. I'm trying to look for one that a name that suits her. Let's go. Okay, so it means the one that gives money or gives credit loan to farmers. Eh? Let's give me a follow. What's the name, ma'am? Aminat. Okay, Aminat said you are the final consumer. Okay, you are the final. Please understand the value chain represents so that as you go along, it's easier for me to connect the dots, right? All right. So first expert. So what's the name? Now it's a media here. Come to the front a little bit. Yes. Don't work there. Okay, and you know that anybody just want the house money bags. So if you have to install factories, you have to have a lot of investments to set up such investments. So how many is a good point into to make production? Are we following? Now that is value chain. So please come forward a little bit. All right, still like that. I mean, I said, do you hold hands? No. All right, good. Now, I think we Seriki, now, what's the impact of the same? Now, Seriki ensures once it's done with production, it moves the completed package, finished products from its destination. Assuming probably went to the factory.
That's Lagos,
It was from Lagos. Fine. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so he ensured what the process that's finished goods, it moves it from here anywhere across the country. We get that. So he's as important as the producer that starts the value chain enterprise. Are we following? So here now, it brings us trailer loads of instructs to the same plans and means everything. Now, it was not so clear that today in Nigeria, agribusiness to enterprise 100% dominant on road transportation. So means that most of our items is basically bad road system. And that's why we're also clamoring for other type of channels whereby our foods, our consumables, agri-produce can actually be accessed or moved across the country, i.e. rail, i.e. airspace, another transport system is available. So here now, that's another major value chain that we can never neglect and needs a lot of investment so that we can move across Nigeria and other parts of the country easily. Now, now, notice that at the end of the day, once E has spoken, it must end where? It must end where? It must end in the market. Now, where's the end of the market? You must also know that markets where everybody now meets, the wholesaler, or the retailer, or the consumers. Am I correct? But majorly, let's assume it's the wholesaler. I know that as a marketer, you have various work to do. You must ensure that you convince the final consumer, you must make a profit. Am I correct? And also, you must ensure that whatever you're selling is on seller. So it means that E is the mind, is the heartbeat of what she has produced. Because if there's any error on what is coming from here, it usually affects her here, over here. We get that. So marketing is very essential as a producer of that commodity. So, and in marketing, you can actually involve measures. You can use direct marketing, the social media, referrals, so all of things. So these are things you can actually begin to adopt in the agricultural enterprise. So you can sell your produce, your products at different countries, both locally or internationally. So it means marketing here helps to use that to take what has been produced in Agric Lagos, probably to Canada, England, Europe, and anywhere across the world. So he is also as important as she, the main producer of those items. So please come for a little bit. Now, what did I call you? Now, one thing we need to understand is this. Now, along the line, there are needs for credits, there are needs for loan, there are needs for money. Then, the whole year, I want is to ensure that, please come forward. I want is to ensure that it meets each of the value chain enterprise, from the producer to the processor, to logistics, to the marketer, and ensure that they have enough fund cash flow to move around and ensure business flow from point A to point Z. That is how funding is also very important. Finance is also very important in ensuring the smooth flow of the value chain enterprise. Now, the last person here, what's my name? Amina's role here is as important as a producer, because whenever Amina gives feedback as a final consumer, it means that whatever they've done here is either nonsense or is either good. So that's why sometimes we eat a consumables and you say, oh, this is good. It's a feedback you're getting as a final consumer of that process item. So Amina here is the final consumer that ensures that whatever has been produced from point A here to these other points, ensure that there's accurate feedback and also give the producer of those products, a very credible feedback and system. So this is basically a systematic array of what Agric value chain represents. And as you here today, we can actually now say and decide that, okay, which of this value chain would I want to invest in? Will I want to participate in? Will I be part of? Or I feel that, look, based on my current capital, I can actually start like this. But remember, you don't have to start large. You can actually start small, get the knowledge, and begin to expand across the value chain. And that is how agribusiness food system. Then you kindly go back to your statement. So that I just want to give as an illustration so that we will understand everything in practical what has been discussed here this morning. And as a wrap up, I want to say a few things. Now, for youth who are trying to get involved in the sector, please note something. It's quite important that you get knowledge. For the fact that your friend is making it in the sector, doesn't mean you also make it. But you also understand that you need to get knowledge in theoretical and also in practical to understand the value chain you want to put your head in. A lot of youth are failed today simply because they've not been able to get adequate knowledge on the value chain enterprise. They want to invest or create that time to kind of. So knowledge is quite important to be successful within the value chain ecosystem. And that's why Symposium today are still here and also encouraging other young entrepreneurs, other youths to find value within the system. And also, it's important that as we proceed in this sector, you must find mentors. Mentors that will guide you, mentors that will channel you through the process, and mentors that will help you become a successful entrepreneur in the long run. And also, finally, I want to say that the future of Nigeria is dependent on how we carry, invest, and how we see the agricultural sector. I keep saying one thing. I said, Agric is the only sector in the world today that can actually reduce the level of unemployment across the world. We can do that. We can get that only and only you believe that yes, Nigeria is great.
We'd like to move to what is next. This will take us about some minutes, but this session will be moderated by Mr. Tunde Banjoko, MDB and PO Farmers Limited. I will just ask that our discussant, I will introduce our discussant, then I'll hand over the microphone to Mr. Tunde Banjoko. First, one of our discussants is our sister. She's coming out again the second time. Ms. Mosumala Uboru, founder, Farmers of Retailers and Distribution Ventures Limited. Let's dance together again for our sister for the second time. Another discussant is Alhaji. So I will take chief away. Alhaji Adegoke Adeyemi, Managing Director, Harvest Feed and Agro Processing Care. Alhaji, please. Where is he? Okay. Please, somebody should help me alert him. We need him now. Last but not the least is our brother who just stepped out, who just delivered his presentation, Mr. Akin Alabi, MD Corporate Farmers Limited. Mr. Akin, please. One more time. We need I'd like Femi to help me with one seat, one of the seats for that's fine. We'll have Elijah there. Femi, Bakari, please help me with one seat for the moderator as I bring up to stage Mr. Tunde Banjoko. Let's now together for Mr. Tunde, please. This is
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to assume that one of you are the only challenge I have is associated with not asleep, and the middle will I have two options. Either I should jump back and stop this family agriculture from what you said, or I should just do the certificates, leave family activities. Because it seems to be part of what is going on. We made me look at it administrative. So I will decide when I leave here, either to jump back or just for certificate and go back and thank you very much. But I will take us back to the topic. the place of Nigeria in global productions of agric. Alaji question. Looking at some areas where our production is massive. I'll start with cassava, 7 million tons. And what in exporting of cassava, in the export markets, we are not even playing, we don't even show the radar. And then what made me laugh more in the cassava space is countries like Thailand, Vietnam, who are not even playing as much as we are. Thailand is doing about 6% in the export market. Vietnam, that is not on the production, is doing about half of that. But Nigeria is not making a ton from that. So maybe we should start out, like I said, let's start looking at the topic of this conference. Where are we in space? Maybe that's the first question. I don't know. Where are we? I like to do understand.
Well, the moderator, I think we are very, very far. Cassava and what's between Thailand, Indonesia, Brazil, China, and several other places. The most of them is in the production. Farmers in Nigeria, up to about, maybe I can say 97% are still peasant farmers. Cultivating 1 hectare, 2 acres, 2 acres. We have several millions of farmers that do that. That's not be commercialized. Is because to aggregate sufficient quantity of tubers in commercial quantity, we really need very logistics to do that. So the first thing is we need to go commercial, having between maybe up to 50 hectares, 200 hectares, 500, 1,000 hectares, 1 farm or 2 farms. That's the starting point. The next point is on yield. There are several things, and you might know about this in the newspapers, institutes, professors, and those of them. Something that we now use 20 evolving. It's we don't even men and the aggression in this world. Yeah, we can pay 40 pounds for 1 liter. We need for commercial value. The gate now is less than 20 pounds. Maybe so and those levels, they used to be very, very. In terms of quantity, we can compete anybody. We compete with like Asia, whatever. Another is on energy. Energy is between 8 tons per day or 45 tons per day. We want 1,000 people generator. Generator we consume every 1 hour. Yes, every generator
We consume 120 liters of insulin every 1 hour. In the is it's in 48 hours. It was tough, very tough. But it took some years. There was this one, they were somewhere in America. I got approval from the Minister of Abuja. So I started from shore to about 12 kilometers. It's so energy. Because the nights we have. Yeah, it's very good. Say no and not say, because the conditions are not favorable. If you have raw material that is cheap and not expensive, if you have that is available and regular, we have technologies, we have a we can do it. But when these solutions are not there, we cannot compete yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Agric. So I'll still throw the same question. Wow, you have an experience with this. And the guy said, I want to visit this farm. Since I was on vacation as a family, I shall show you to do some things. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. He said, I'm going. I said, did you get back? So I'm wondering, yeah, what's going on? Wow, products not on the table. They are fighting it's continuous. Leakage, kilo. So, I don't know where are we in that global space. Why are we not showing?
Okay, so there are many factors. I like to just alluded to one, which is the cost of energy. There's an elephant in the room that we haven't addressed, and that's security. Security has become a big challenge. I wish Mr. President was still here so that I can bust the bubble. Because I knew we were going to have this panel session, I closed my speech on a very good note. About 15 years ago, I ventured to start out a 3,000-hectare farm in Osun State. And when I shared that story, you all were very excited, right? On the 1st of January 2021, just after COVID, I shut down that farm. Yeah. I lost over $1 billion. I lost because I had taken loans. I had brought in investors. I brought in friends from the US. I was excited. I mean, I was going to develop a CP. President Goodluck and Jonathan's excitement when I shared that vision. And he said, we have to support you, you know? And you know, I said it took 2 years to get the title deeds for the land. 2 years. How many young presidents in Nigeria have 2 years to be pursuing one aspect of their business plan? You want to get title deed because the banks would say you must have title deed before they can give you money. And I spent 2 years getting just one line item, one bank requirement. And when we moved in, the community started, oh no, my eyes saw shaggy. They told me in Yoruba, Obìnrin àtẹ̀yìntọ̀ lásán tó wá gba ilẹ̀ wa. It was bush. You all saw the video, Abby? But no sooner and we started opening 4-lane roads, 2-lane roads, because the other difficult part of starting any agriculture or any estate is that you must put infrastructure in place. So we have to do power, we have to do road networks, we have to design the farm, right? You can't just go into a bush like everybody is doing in Nigeria. I was planning to build an agro city, right? So I had designed my farm. I had a farm map. I had a design on paper. I took it to the US. I spoke to mentors. Madam Obiazen Wesley paid. I remember one trip, she bought 2 business class tickets on the back of the World Bank, African region, to bring me to Washington, D.C., to pitch in the IFC. I told you earlier, I said, I went to Australia. The Australia life equipment to do things right, do a demo, everything, brought in the were made to kidnap and kill me. People came, the one that broke the camel's back was December 2020. They threw fire into the farm. I had bought brand new generators. I had taken the bank loan. I had bought tractors. I had offered the university. I gave the university. I endowed a chair at the Obafemi Awolowo University. You don't endow chairs out of peanuts, right? I endowed a chair. I gave them a contract that I will hire from every faculty, because you can't run a farm of that magnitude without workers, right? I offered that from every discipline, they should give us interns, 120 interns every year. However, we created a special slot for the Faculty of Agriculture, that in addition to that 120, where people can do vocational jobs, Faculty of Agriculture will get 50 additional slots every year. Look, by the time all of this plan was put in place, I have people volunteering to work with me, and I'm not talking ordinary people. I'm talking people at the high. That was inside my farm, they wanted to start hunting bushmeat. So I will put it. In fact, the part of the farm that made me was giving up, right? We had generators with diesel, brand new. You buy, because power shouldn't be a problem. We had sunk boreholes. and I was no longer going to go on. So that's one of the reasons why Nigeria can be competitive. Because in addition to failed government policies or non-existent favorable policies, you also have wicked Nigerians who do not want you to flourish. So that's one aspect. My father called me one day and said, you can't keep, and I'm tearing. I drive from Lagos to Ile-Ife myself. I didn't think a big deal of it. If you are in New York, if you are in America, you drive 2-3 hours, day and night, and you're not afraid. Why shouldn't I live that life in Nigeria? But then you worry about being kidnapped by bandits. And then one of the project farm sites where we were working, they came to the farm at night, a lot of women. And my father said to me, if anything happens to you, I will not be liable. I had to cut my losses. So those factors, we don't talk about them enough. Insecurity has been the biggest bane of agriculture in Nigeria for the last 10 years. So my own addressing, for me to travel to the farm, my partners now pay for moped. So first I will buy a Hilux. How much is Hilux today? 60-something million, 80-something million naira. I will decide it, I will dedicate it to policemen. That will be their own vehicle, in addition to my own van, my own personal car. Then I will be paying the police moped 150 to 300,000 every time I go to the farm. So if I go 10 times a month, right? That is 1.5 million to 3 million naira only for police to escort me to the farm in 1 month. And then I will do that 12 months a year. How do we want to be competitive? Nigeria has over 80 million hectares of arable lands. We have no excuse, and I stand to be corrected. We haven't cultivated 50% of that land. We haven't. Now, if you have that land resource, Israel does not have the volume of rainfall Lagos State has in 3 months, cumulative in a year. They have found technological solutions to harvesting water. Dubai did the other time, they are seeding rain, cloud seeding and all of that. But we have land. We have the right climate. We have rainfall. So if all we want to focus on is rain-fed agriculture, and your ministers and commissioners of agriculture will come and give you seeds and fertilizer after planting season, and they say that they are doing us a favor. To be competitive, is it that they do not know that their procurement needs to be done 1 year, 6 months ahead of the next planting season? So if you come and give me inputs after planting season, I then have to keep the seeds for the next planting season. Rats will have come to the space to come and eat it. Or go and check some of the things they share. Some of them are near expiration dates as inputs. Talu Shirano. Well, in addition to this, so that you will know where we can be competitive. Because you see, I have had the chance to work as a senior advisor in this country. I worked as senior technical advisor to one of the former ministers of agriculture. And the biggest, Nigeria is not the rest of smart people. Nigeria is in abundance of wicked citizens. Because it is not rocket science to plan agriculture. It is not rocket science to plan investment. It is, Alaji said it now. He has to stay, he had to go to Abuja. He made it sound like he sat in his bedroom. He called the Minister of Power and said, there's one project passing around my farm, it's just 14 kilometers. Can we tap the lights so that we can have energy? He did not tell you how many tickets he bought to go to Abuja to go and make that negotiation. Because when I was pursuing my title deed, I lived in a hotel in Abuja for 3 months. I was paying, yes, hotel accommodation fee, so that I could sit on the neck of the then Minister of Agriculture, the then Minister of Land, Minister of Education, so that I could get a tripartite agreement and approval to get my title before the Surveyor General would create my survey, and then they would give me my title contract. Now, if I was an Olodo and I didn't know, I would have been running around. But because I knew that that was the requirement, I went to sit in Abuja. I begged, I borrowed, I blackmailed. Oh, yes. Yeah. The only thing I didn't do was steal or kill. But yes, I remember talking to a minister, they were at the villa having an event. And I started texting him, and I was making videos from the TV, sending to him, Oga, I can see you now. The Minister of Land is sitting next to you. It's important that you talk to her now about my issue, because I'm at my wit's end. I have spent X amount of hotel accommodation. I am about to go on social media. I will call Mr. President. I'm on my way to the villa, Ogasa. Then when I now go to the villa and talk to the president about the frustration, then the minister will call me at 2 a.m. Why would you go and report me to Mr. President? But if I had not gone to Mr. President, you will not call me. So that's why Nigeria can stay competitive, because there are too many bottlenecks that are unnecessary, that are created by citizens. When I was working as advisor in the ministry, my father never visited me for one day in Abuja. I was deliberate. I said to my father, I was given a political office to work with, a political appointment, not you. When I get to church, the same people who didn't used to greet me good morning before now want to carry my bag and go and give me a seat in front.
Let's see it here.
Now, we sacrifice the important. If somebody is fanning your ego, it can get into your head. I'm on first call basic with 5, 20, 30 heads of states. Kiloku now. Think about it. It gets into your head. Now, people, Nigerian citizens like to fund that nonsense. Commissioner, sir, Your Excellency, sir, Honorable Ma, Honorable Tio, Honorable, and then when you're Honorable, this Honorable, get the sister, two Ashurie, Keba weekend or Legba, Komashe and Shemo, but you're finding in people, why would Nigeria be competitive? So until we do a proper house cleaning, we will not be competitive. We can try, we can struggle, I can go on and on about exports. And how can we produce peace and our goods are being burnt? And then you pay for them to destroy those things that you export that has peace and flies with them. It's not, export is not easy. That's why. So when our stone costs, if I already spend all the money that I should be using to run a business, trying to chase a minister, trying to get power cuts, trying to get approval, before I now start running the business, and then somebody is sitting here and is borrowing me money at 4.8% a month, and they say they are doing me a favor. The business is already dead on arrival. And I'm competing in the same market with a country where the government gives them money at 3% per annum, 1.5% per annum. Then we as a country take our sovereign guarantee and go and borrow that money at 1 to 2% per annum and come and on lend. NPR now has gone up to what? 20-something percent. 27%. How much are the banks going to lend to us? So that's why we cannot be competitive. We're ready to know this high-headed monsters that we create, because half of it is self-inflicted. If we are deliberate and intentional, we can drive our interest rates down. We can drive interest rates down with deliberate investment. Let me take you back before I hand over the phone mic to Aki. President Goodluck Jonathan was able to get us the Paris Club pardon, and we reduced our debt exposure. All right? Obasanjo started that process. Yes, they did. Under President Jonathan, we had of revenue generation from oil. One good project, and probably the best project they invested in then, apart from the farmers' credit that they tried to do, was UWI, an initiative for young people. How many of you remember? 3,600 in investment for 3,000 young business owners in Nigeria. And the government gave a grant of 10 million naira. I like to reference one of the ladies who got that 10 million naira back then. Her company is 11 years old now. With that capital of 10 million naira that she got, she started a baking agege bread. That's what we call it on the street, right? Her agege bread business today turns over, because I serve on her advisory council, sells over 80 million naira worth of bread every month today. One lady, one intentional investment by government. That was 3,000 businesses. If every administration does 3,000 businesses every year, and for 4 years, you would have invested intentionally in 12,000 startups or helped 12,000 businesses scale. And that money would have impacted the economy significantly.
Yeah, we know.
But no, they will take that 3,000 money for 10 million naira as extra codes for unnecessary frivolities. And then you people will go and say, Your Honorable, Your Excellency. As long as they remain honorable, pleading you dry, they are honorable. Until we become uncomfortable with dishonorable honorables who are not interested in the greater good, then we deserve what we have. But when we are uncomfortable and we're ready to work together for the interest of the greater good and stop thinking about myself, my family, my business, my company, then we will collaborate and work for transformation. Thank you.
I don't think you want to say anything again. What is Max that? Shall I everything?
Okay, and in this world, let's go this time. You know, I have over 64% of our okay. Since the average about and they tell you, come and sit down. Just to encourage. Láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ yan láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ but you realize it's still one day. It's still one day, and most of them are getting tired. Some of them working for very good business. That's what I'm asking you. I have more other people working for me. I just add on. One of the guys that work for the states is actually working because he was at the states. At most, I'll do 4 days. And when I'm around, good enough, there's no need to see. I see. So you can see, I'm talking about commitment. So somebody you employ, but because you know, so it's one of the institutions that called me. So, guy, this boy, not the one for cooking oil. They only come. That's what I also have another one in Japan. That is working with my accounts. Information is working. 4, 5 days. I think maybe 5 days. 2 days are out. So it's working. So, of course, not long after, exercise. So, how do we get these young people to come to that space? Some of the bitterness, I could feel most of the bitterness because we suffered it in the States. We suffered it, and not as much as your own, though. Not as much as the old community one, but thank God for experience. Of course, then also, I told somebody today, I'm also looking at that project, not one farm, that project, because of this kind of issues. So how do we bring this focus? Is there anything on several occasions when I'm privileged to talk to media, I tell them you are discouraging this because the only thing you show is those people wearing rag. I say you've never come to shoot me in my office in Lekki. You've never come to see me the day I'm dressed, but I'm not on the farm. You don't show me when I wear blue shoe or try to move with some bad shoes. It's only even when they want to design flyers, they will have to look for one. Show that picture you showed earlier on with tractors. They don't show that one. They only show those old men tired and all that. So to be competitive, to start getting to that point, I think one area we shouldn't miss. I also talk about what was 10, 12 years old using drone. It's not a big deal for them. You know, technology. My daughters have to the plastic with my phone. I think they scatter everything I said back in. And then you have to find your way around. They get it easily. But for them, for people that listen to the younger ones, technology is something they can try on. So how can we, because we have to be competitive, no matter the challenge we are having, like the coach we said earlier on about Samson, thank God Samson was is the fact that food is not negotiable. I was reading the report, I was reading something from China's TV, and they said some days people have not had it in this same country. And we're talking about hunger for government. So my point is, how do we bring these young ones? Because the child must produce and we must armor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. So first of all, let me acknowledge that all she said there were actually reality, and I must commend your tenacity.
I think she deserves a rather
Thank you for a woman to go through that. No child's play, except you saw it herself. In fact, it happened to us in Niger State. We abandoned a complete 200 hectares of granite farm. When the investor told us, look, actually, events happen to you guys on the farm, I'm not involved. We had to abandon it and exit that project that period. I think it was intense within Niger environment with heavy kidnapping. But anyway, that is story for another day. Everybody has faced one challenges or another within the sector, and this is reality in terms of security. So, based on the question, and I will start like this. 20 years ago, I'm going to use the fintech industry as an example. Today, at the comfort of our homes, I'm sure we all have mobile phones, right? At the comfort of our homes, now we can make payments to anywhere in the world through an app or through anything. And that was done through technology. And that didn't come cheap. Some young folks came together, designed solutions to solve specific problems that was fitting the financial ecosystem. Many years ago, like 20 years, 25 years ago, before you make payment back, you will see long queues to have to date one new transaction in the bank. Long queues. But as time goes on, we begin to have solutions solutions. Technology keeps coming to take away that problem. That is the same issue or the problem I try to relate most times with our cultural sector to bring it on how youth can come in. Before we could begin to make payments that work for us today, some young folks came together in different hubs around Lagos, West Africa, anywhere around the world to come up with solutions and make payments easy. I said something. They came up together in hubs where they could think, strategize, and develop solutions to solve specific problems in the ecosystem to the agricultural sector. Today, we have problems, as in serious problems, that can be solved with technology by young minds within the agricultural ecosystem, from production down to marketing, down to distribution, down to processing, to funding. If only we could have an aggregation of brilliant agricultural minds that would see, develop solutions to help solve problems within the agricultural sector. Not that they didn't exist, they actually exist. But the question is, do we have platforms that will enable us absorb these young minds to solve problems within the agric sector? Today, I mentor well over 50,000 youths across the umbrella of I do mentor on a monthly basis. Means that we gather together, have a virtual meeting, discuss problems, provide solutions, and next step. Every month, 3,000 of them. And the question they keep asking me is this: once they are done with school, what is next for them? And we find out that most of them after school, spending 5 years on campus, they come back to Lagos, sell belts, sell perfume, sell t-shirts, sell different kind of things. They are aggressive totally from the very reason of what they studied for good 5 years. Now that is the problem. We do not have proper platforms. We do not have a concession of minds where they will gather and solve these problems. Thank God for young minds like Samson that are generations to see the career path, the wealth path of the ecosystem. Every value chain is embedded to create wealth. But the question is, do we have what it takes to create or enhance such wealth? No, we don't have in Nigeria. And that is the problem. And we can only do this if we have a private-public partnership and comes together and we begin to change the perception of what young minds see about agriculture. So let me give you a story. Many months ago, a particular foundation, I don't want to mention their name, so they made a post out there on public space. And they were talking about, oh, young minds in Africa and agriculture. I saw it. I picked it. I sent a mail to them. I lashed them. I lashed them. And the next day, they have to drop down that post and change it. Yeah, some of us had that influence, and they changed it. And I said, look, you can't be representing African young man with such tattered image. Some of us are putting in the real work in ensuring that we change the perception of these young minds to see the part of the sector. But we are making it difficult for us because what the image is what glues into their minds. It's just like saying you see whiskey. You see, with the glamours and bliss and everything, it didn't get there in a day. It is taking in years on that journey. So it's the same thing for us that put into the sector. We're working day and night, ensuring that we're changing the mindset, the perception of what young folks see about agribusiness.
even in our homes. And I keep telling the story of my young daughter that with just watching Bugs Bunny, a rabbit cartoon, today she owns a rabbit farm. And that's a simple ideology. You must change the perception. The perception will now transfer into a wealth creation process. And that is what our young mind needs. We can only get there if we start now and letting our young agripreneurs, young youths, see the career path of the sector. And I must give kudos to three people that are doing well, regardless. Folks like, example, folks like Samson, I do an amazing one, and folks like another gentleman in Nasarawa, also doing well in that regard. And other young folks like that. We need to ensure that young minds have what it takes to see the money-making machine within the sector. And today, if you look at developed countries, US, Canada, she went to Australia, and you see what came out of that. If we can only begin to change that mindset of what agribusiness is all about, then we can create a youth-enabled environment.
work about farming. Yeah, but what are the challenges and ways to get investors into the agri business in Nigeria? And about loans, we keep talking 3%, 4%. But I know that's on maybe the bank side or something. But is there a way the government can subsidize things like that for farmers? It's adequate to answer that because it's his office. But should I leave the farmers to answer that since it's investment? Or I should challenge the man so that you can hold this. You can hold his trouser. It's so carry around. So you said? Okay. So the first one is investment. And don't worry, Bank of Agric is there's money in the house, I can assure you that. The last time I spoke with the MD of Bank of Agric, and I said, Alaji, money is not flowing from us. He said, can they give me the names and tell me their states? I'll make sure money goes to them. I'm telling you the truth. Is here. I guarantee money is here.
My question is very simple. Can we have the contacts of the three panelists who rejected spring? The Alaji, Mr. Tinoda, and Mr. Kalabi, so that we're able to contact them, also get some inside information. To claim that they will grant that request. Thank you.
Direct question.
Yeah, my question, direct. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for the presentation. My question, ma'am, is when I was growing up, ma'am, I didn't have the opportunity that is available for you today wasn't there, which you can testify to that. But we are this problem. You can see that there's so much problem that we are encountering. And I would have been more than this if I've seen so many opportunities. Second chance, by meeting you today, what are the program you have for people like us that are looking for second chance? I know I'm not the only person who have so many that are not looking in the city down here. What are the program you have? Because when we go to forum, they were talking about youth and women. Youth and women. What's wrong with men? So today, ma'am, what program do you have for us? We men.
Alaji said something the other time about.
Please, let's be quiet so that we can get the question.
Good afternoon, everyone. The other time, Alaji said about we are not producing massively. I'm a practicing farmer in the Shane local government real estate. But the issue we have now is about the issue of the real estate lands. If from Ibadan now, from Ake local government now to Okeogun zone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the good presentations. Ma'am, the funding activities, there was one that was going on sometimes ago, the absentee farmers. When people said that they have farms and people should come and contribute, but most of us have got our hand pumped on that. But if we can have honest people that we have real farm estates, that people that want to contribute will contribute and they can have their returns at least. Then number two, then I want to know how have you done the SCCI?
Our doors are open.
Okay, yes. Then is there any training for farmers? So how can we have training for farmers? Then the last one is how can SCCI help resource workers for young farmers? Thank you.
Okay, Chairman, you answer that one.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kaide Ajiboye. Actually, this question should have directed to the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture when she was here. But unfortunately, there was no opportunity to ask question. But that question you want for the Commissioner, Aki will answer it. The harvest program is something you want to say. Yes, it may. I will still need to ask the question. You know, over time, Lagos State government, they have agricultural lands. They are for the Agric business, which is being managed by Lagos State Agricultural Holding Authority. But over time, such lands have been encroached occupiers. They have been encroached upon it. A lot of people have taken over the land, built the legal structure on it, of which I'm one of the victims. Especially my granddad, which I am the one managing the land now. Before, 20 hectares was actually allocated to the man. Yes, when the community came, they were complaining that they need to do a lot of developmental projects in the town. 16 hectares was ceded to them, and it remained 3.5 hectares. But do you know that as I'm talking to you, almost the almost 4 hectares that is remaining have been encroached upon, left with less than 1 hectare of land. So what is Lagos State government doing to retrieve those lands? And it's not only in Badagry, because that land is in Badagry. We have other areas too that they have illegal occupants, they have encroached upon the land. What does the Lagos State government do to take back those lands? Please, let's make it brief so that we can.
Adebayo Samiya, a student of Olabisi branch of studying agricultural extension and rural sociology. I'm actually interested in agro-processing, but the major challenge now is how do we get mentors who will mentor us in the right steps?
Thank you. My name is Agric. I have a farm somewhere in the state. My question will be to government actually. How can we bring back the agricultural officers? In those days, ministries have agricultural officers. If you want to set up a farm and go to some of these settlements, agric officers are there to help you. Because when we were starting, to say somewhere in the region, there was an agric officer who came. He actually helped us to set up a farm plantation.
We see that 68 million tons of cassava is moving into the country. How do we address the one that's going out of Igogo? That is one. Sokoto, that is another one. And my boss is also here. He will also talk about some other things.
Thank you. It's a comment. Let's thank
you very much. I am concerned about the that acquiring seeds that are not reproductive. In other words, you harvest only to go back to the source. I want to draw our attention to the need for advocacy against this kind of development. Everybody will bring his product to the market. If you buy, go ahead. But I will talk about our own researchers. What are they doing? Use seed, improve seed, and will be reproduced and used for our farmers that will not have need to be begging for seed to produce after consuming the already produced one. They need to challenge that. I want to draw the particular attention to Ikorodu maize, Agbado Ikorodu, that has peculiar taste. Now is almost getting extinct. I want also the SCCI to call the attention of our researchers to partner with you to produce that particular special scheme. It controls a higher price, even the market where it was. Today is getting extinct. And finally, sir, somebody was talking about commercial agriculture being on last year. No, everything you produce that goes beyond your immediate consumption that you sell is simply commercial. And it could be done even on half a plot, produce and sell. That is commercial agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So could you just answer them one after the other? Make bubbles and yes. So let's
just speaking on that. So first of all, on the young lady from OOU that requires a mentor. So two things. One, I don't know where you're based, but I can recommend that you can apply for the Enterprise for Youth Navy program that is running every 3 months at Finance Farm Lab Abeokuta. For 3 months, you can apply for it and get into the program. It takes you through an intensive mentorship program across major agricultural value chain and even to distribution and processing. And also, Lagos State has the Lagos Agric Institute at Araga Ekpe. You can also enroll for that. It's monthly and it's absolutely free. The government takes care of your feeding, of your accommodation for full 1 month, and you'll be trained on various agricultural enterprise. But also on the man that mentioned about land, while I speak for government, I will say that you can actually visit the Ministry of Agriculture. You can visit HADHA, that's the authority in charge of agricultural lands. Lay your complaints to them, critically. Let them know what the issues are. There are officers assigned to ensure that your land, the agricultural lands, are not encroached. And if peradventure encroached based on government projects, I'm sure with all types of documents, you should be compensated and rewarded. But please visit the ministry and make necessary feedbacks or to them so that they will give you appropriate feedbacks and other things you will need. And let me just answer that to while my colleagues will answer the rest of the question. Madam Osun.
Okay, thank you very much, Aki. I'll answer the last question or comment first. I think that it's time for us to be a bit more open-minded. So as much as I do not support extensive genetically modified seeds, I have to be honest with you to say that if you're going to feed a population of 200 million citizens, you cannot feed using generic seeds that you have on your farm or that my grandfather used to store back in the days. Many of us are seated here. I don't know how many. Let me start with the gentleman, and no pun or insult intended. How many parents here are funding their children to become researchers? Government is not investing heavily in research. Private sector, Alaki hasn't finished sorting out his farm. I've dealt with all the bad posts that Nigeria has thrown at me. Even though we had factored in research into our investment costs, the truth of the matter is that the reality of the day has not allowed us to implement that. We have moved from, I mean, look at the inflation. The analysis I let the farmers over there do in the morning. Cost of production has gone up 300%. The last thing on anybody's mind right now is investing in research. So we are all, I mean, we have to work with improved seeds. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. You eat broiler chickens, you all eat imported turkey, you're already eating GMO. So let's stop lying to ourselves. You see, it's illiteracy and to a certain degree. And so there are two narratives being sold to us. There's one narrative by advocates who are not fully informed. There's a narrative by advocates who benefit from the misinformation of society. Yes, there are dangers for continuous consumption of certain things, but I can tell you for free as a farmer and as a thought leader in the sector, that many more people will die from consumption of pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer residue than will die from improved GMO seeds. Sorry, but it's the truth. There's scientific basis to prove that. Moving up to the other comments, real estate is a vein of society. We will not run out of agric land. We'll just open more land, and there will be greater advocacy. I also don't like the concept because, it's a chicken that will come home to roost. I said it to all the heads of state when I was youth consultant to the African Union. I said the time will come when Nigerians and Africans will have so much money. So all the realtors continue. When you have so much money, put your houses on your plates when you're hungry and try eating them for a change. And see how full your stomach will get. So when we get to that bridge, reality will checkmate us, okay? You can't stop people from investing in real estate because we have a housing deficit, whether we like it or not. But I think that the agri entrepreneurs are not aggressive enough. Please, may we have some quiet? Thank you. The agribusiness space is not exciting enough to drive away real estate and housing investment. Okay, the reasons are like night and day. Somebody sells a piece of land and he builds on it and he makes 50 million naira in the space of 12 months. And you're telling him to come and do farming, that he will make 50 million over a space of 10 years. Ejo, the choose and pick is yours. So please, let us structure our own sector to become attractive enough to drive that level of investment. So that's why we need to go to value addition and not just sell raw materials. The absentee farmers, madam, I'm sorry, those failed schemes, those Ponzi schemes that happened were fueled by the greed of individuals. How does someone come and tell you that he will give you 60% return on investment in 3 months. You that gave him your money, they the guy that's talking to you is a crook and a criminal. But you, during COVID, all of you that money in those Ponzi schemes, you deserve to have lost your money. I have not spoken about these things. I only spoke about it at the platform in church. Because only women, they're backing surely. My people have been farming this farming business for years, and return on investment is between 5 to 15%. And some young smart addicts just come and tell you they can guarantee you. Nothing in this world is guaranteed. Even tomorrow that I will be alive is only dependent on the grace and mercy of God. It's not guaranteed. That we will sleep on our beds tonight is not guaranteed. There's some criminals tell you to bring your hard-earned resources. If it's not greed, why are you giving them your money? Because you two want a get-rich-quick scheme. So they've given you a Ponzi scheme. Please live with the consequences of your action and stop making noise in our ears. I'm sorry. You said what you got Please, let's get wise, okay? Having said that, right, the truth of the matter is we need to demystify these Ponzi schemes. Nothing great is built overnight. There is a process, even to life. I am the age I am today. At a point, I was younger than this. I was as young as that lady. I was in school. But today, I am where I am. There is a process. It's a journey. I like his age today. He was once my age. One day, by the grace of God, I'll become alive his age. So let's not be in a hurry. It's because everybody is in a hurry. This side hustle. You want to hustle and make money quick and hammer from what you did not. So you will sleep in your house. Somebody will be working hard on the farm to give you 60% return on the investment. Continue. In Madam Patient's voice. Okay, so again, back the charge to the LCC and Mr. Tijani on land. We still need to do a bit more advocacy to get investment. Very first question was off-takers agreement. How do we raise money? How do we get investment? We need to be more strategic and collaborative. There are investments that are there. I asked the lady in this one day, she said she has an initiative. I said, is it in Kano? Why? Because there's a fund that opened a few Series B, Series C funding, tens, hundreds, millions of dollars. The reason is they got investment ready. Many of us need to go back to school. I keep retuning my skills, learning. If you want that kind of money, it comes at a price. The price is doing the work, doing the groundwork, and getting ready. No man will give you your money because you said so. Not because I'm pretty. Well, let everybody does that should give me their money to invest. The same people who went to do Ponzi scheme will not give me their money to invest in my business. Even though I am sound, I'm intellectual, I'm intelligent, and I know the business, they won't. But they will listen to those who have tailored the story and the narrative to suit what they like to hear or want to hear. So you have to do that work. Finally, there was a comment about the elderly men. Okay. So yes, there's a lot of solutions for young men and women. For the elderly, I'm sure that through the help of the LCCI, and it's exciting that you asked that question, and I apologize on behalf of society that you have been sidelined for many years. But you know, women are used to were sidelined for so long. So now the reverse is happening. So what we will do is now charge the LCCI can create the transformation we're looking for.
Now let me talk about the issue of Agric officers. One of the questions whether it is happening, if essentially they are in Ogun State, I'm sure that in the Ministry of Agriculture, they have Agric extension officers. Every local government are there. The problem with them is that they can be very invisible. They will just promote, you won't even know, but they are there. You can get them if you want to the local government, ask for the agreements in the local government, and there you will find the extension officer. If you do his job, I know a lot of them in Ogun State. I have their numbers. If I don't have something, I'll call him. Oh boy, call. This is your job. Come and do this. And I bet they will come and do it. Then another one is about land. If we talk about land, I think maybe in maybe Lagos and Ogun State, parts of Oyo too. Something is wrong with a lot of our people. All lands are being sold. Now, people sell to real estate, not only real estate, they sell to Chinese too. All lands are being sold, and it's unfortunate. We don't know what will happen to us in the next 20 years when we get land to cultivate. And it's a good for us. The solution lies in, please, go to the Ministry of Agric. Meet them in ministries of Agric in any part of our states, especially the Southwest. They know where the Agric lands are. Even if people have a coach, government has a way of getting them back. Don't forget, the Islamic use decree of 1978 that vests land in government in Nigeria. That degree is still operating, and they can solve your problem for you. It may take time to solve it. Please approach them in the Ministry of Agric. They are there. They will never come to you. If you walk up to them and tell them your challenge, they will probably find a solution. Another one that I want to say is about things and improve things. Nigeria is not dead of research institutes. We have several research institutes. Still research today. I can tell you. If you remember, some years past, maybe about 20, 15 years down the line, cassava farm, you can say they have 3 years cassava, 2 years cassava, or the farm still there. It's not like that today. You can't see 2 years cassava again. It's no longer there at all. Why? They have worked on improved varieties of cassava. And Ibadan, I am sure and I'm aware, and I use them more than 10 improved varieties of cassava. There's cassava that you grow now, and in 8 months you harvest it. 6 months you harvest it. There is. So, yeah, and I know also it happens in yam, it happens in some vegetables. There are a lot of research going on. Our challenge is that they will not come to us. They will never come to us. We go to them. I went to IT myself. Most farmers still know. I give them the good stem of cassava, free of charge. People that want to buy it from IT. They will sell to you at about 800 to 1,000 naira per bundle. You know, and I buy, if you like, you need 65 bundles to make, but you plant 1 hectare. So 55 is 10 hectares. I'll give it for me, and I'll pay for it and give it to you. Why do I do that? We are using it to do our own CSR.
to farmers. And we did that a lot. That's why today you will not find varieties of cassava in the population. They are no longer there. Or if they are there, it will be less than 3%. I can tell you that. So these things were given by processors and the agric space. So please don't be afraid of here. Don't be afraid. They have been there for more than 50 years. In fact, most of the multinational companies, all the raw material they use, they are growing up there now. They're not growing there. Either your wheat for bread or barley for beer, or even maize that we use, that we import, soya bean that we bring here. They have the varieties. Whether it's already genetically modified or not, well, I leave that to them. But science also have ways of checking what are the ingredients, the compounds that are inimical to health. And when we check them, they are most times below threshold. So they can be consumed. Have no fear. Have no fear. Don't be afraid at all. After all, there are 117-year-old man in Europe, in America, and there are 130, 150-year-old men in Nigeria too. Don't be afraid at all. There's no problem about it. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. It's going to be 1 minute.
So this goes out to LCCI, for the Director of Agriculture. If you have youths under your chamber that are interested in agriculture, as I said earlier, please, Lagos State has the Agric Institute at Araga. You can actually collaborate with the ministry, have your selected youths, and then apply for that institute. They would get trained through the process for 1 month, and this is absolutely free. Absolutely free by Lagos State government. Then after 1 month, they go for internship. That internship takes them through the process to understand the food systems and also become experts within the value chain. This is what Lagos is doing, basically to support youth that wants to create or develop a career within the agricultural value chain in Lagos. Thank you very much.
Please, can you give a round of applause for all to keep going? That they've done the what you have. The doctor is asking, how can I join the Lagos chamber? So I want Mr. Kola to quickly ask. Then we get the response from presidents. No, Mr. Kola, because the attorney agrees with my
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's very simple and very easy. SCI is basically for advocacy and engagement with government, and we protect our members. For potential members who are here, I know the judge who are not members before. From now on, my member, take it. You are members. Yeah. But what do we do for me is this. Please, after the event today, you will intelligently pack your bag and you go to the main entrance and the desk there. Somebody's going to attend to you there. Thank you so much.
Well, my president is about to give me a round of applause.
Okay, first let me thank the panel. It's been very so literative to hear what all of you have said. And you made a charge to LCCI. And it so happens that we have the complete framework to execute your charge. And that is why I decided to speak now, even though I have indicated to Chairman to immediately begin to work with you. We have an entrepreneurship management program, EMP, that is in the class 11. It has an alumni of 700 people who have graduated from that program. One or two of them were UWI. One of them became a designer for Mrs. Okojo. And the EMP program is one of the legs of the framework. We have what is called the Business Education Services and Training Department of FCI, which houses the EMP, and the chairman of the board, and with the board of vice president, Mrs. Bayo, we have the young business leaders in FCI. And so we have that framework that executes exactly what we're trying to do. And so what we tend to do is to ask chairman of to work with you and we'll start to implement it as fast as it is done. That's all I just wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We'd like to give a little presentation to our discussant. Femi, let me have it first. That will also be done by the president. First on the list is Ms. Mosimola, or let's answer that one. Next is Chief Adegoke Adeyemi. Yes. Thank you, sir. Next is Mr. Akin Nabi. Next, sorry, Mr. President, I must firstly Shepherd Microfinance Bank as one of our sponsors. Shepherd Microfinance Bank, we are the representative Bank of Agriculture. I think we have next, General Insurance Limited. Can we have General Insurance Limited, Mr. Femi? General Insurance Limited representative. Yes, Mr. Femi, as one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
KSP Limited. Some of them as one of the sponsors. We will try and find us. So we take the last photograph, group photograph with Mr. President. I'd like to have some of our present VPs that are here. Princess Layo, can we have any joining us?
That's major.
Yes, Mr. Adekunle, please join us. I saw, like you said the other time, I wouldn't know. Okay, I will. Thank you so much. We'd like to appreciate once again our students for the job well done. Thank you, sis. Thank you, man. For the recap of the day, we have our deputy chairman, which is the deputy chair, Agric Group, think tank committee. I'm sure he's still here, our brother Honorable Rotimi Abiru. Let's stand together for Honorable Rotimi Abiru as he does a recap of the day. Thank you, sir.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the day is fast spent. I'm sure we have been well fed today by our various speakers. As a quick recap, in the opening speech of Mr. President, he did an overview. Please, in this, and he also provided some solutions as to how we solve this challenge. Part of what he said was that it is very important that we prevent post-harvest losses. He also said there was a need for urgent, coordinated approach to farming. Part of what he also said was there is a need for government to have a food bank so as to avoid wastages. He also mentioned the fact that government should make finance available at single digits to farmers. He also spoke about farmers patronizing high yield seeds and also for us to maintain a good agronomic practice. Adekunle also represents the Bank of the Industry. He told us the mandate of his institution. He said to us that they finance all value chain in the agro sector, from nano to micro to MSME. And he also said that they are indeed doing some organization at the moment that funds will be available going forward. The Commissioner of Agric was also here, Lagos Commissioner of Agric. He told us some of the efforts of government in supporting this space. Part of what she said, she encouraged us that domestic self-sufficiency, that's very important, that within our little spaces, we all should practice subsistence form of agriculture. She told us about the investment of government in storage, logistics, and that government also supports farmers with inputs and some farm implements as their own support. Ms. Mosumola Umoru spoke to us about modern techniques in farming. And very robust topic. She told us the need to leverage technology in modern day farming. She also told us about precision agricultural farming that's gone are the days when we rely on information of the past for agriculture. She told us that data was very important, and that there was also the need for us to ensure that we know the soil in which we are actually planting. It's not very, have a very large farm. I would say some of you having a very large farm and your yield is nothing to write home about. She also told us about leveraging new financial tools, things like crowdfunding. She told us that knowledge is very key. And of course, in terms of knowledge, virtually all speakers spoke about knowledge as being very key. Information is very key. That it is important that we also embrace modern technology for farming. Alhaji Agric spoke to us about getting it right in agro-processing. And by way of introduction, he let us realize that a processing farm does not have to have giant machinery. That we can indeed do processing without really having machinery. He told us, he gave the example of somebody who's planting beans, for instance, that all we had to do was to sort and we bag. That's that simple. But beyond that, he let us realize that whatever we want to do, it's very important that we start small, and when we are getting it right, we try to scale up. He also let us realize that it was very important that we understand the market in which we want to sell into. And he shared personal experiences about what he has indeed gone through in his field of practice. Mr. Akin, well, he spoke to us about value chain enterprise. And from part of what he told us, he said it was very important that we need to change the narrative for the youth to be part of this agricultural process. He said perception is key. And he also told us that for the young ones, it's very important that we have mentors to try to mentor us, for the part that they have actually traversed before, we share experiences with them, so that some of these things that they have done in the past, that we can avoid those pitfalls if we have mentors mentoring us. And but above everything, I think it's been very, very educating. And I want to, on behalf of the chairman, thank each and every one of us for making enough time to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Your reporter gave me a reminiscence of when I was a reporter. I am still a reporter now I'm reporting for my chairman, for my president and chairman of council. Thank you so much. You actually gave us the meat of every discussion we had today. All right, we like to announce that this car, Murano, FJK 578GZ, I'm told you need to quickly repair now. It's as urgent as yesterday. Murano FJK 578GZ. All right, we will be closing very soon with a closing remark to be handled by the Director General of the Chamber, presented by the Director of Membership Relations at SCCI. Let's put our hands together for Mrs. Apostle Teniola Okeyemi.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Let me observe all protocols. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Director General Dr. Chinyere Amona, FCA, who is unavoidably absent due to other pressing engagement, to give this closing remarks at the opening day of the 2024 Agric Fair and Symposium. The Chamber expresses its heartfelt gratitude to the Senator Abubakar Kaya, CON, who was with us in spirit today. We sincerely thank you, sir, for your remarks. To the President and the Chairman of Council, Mr. Gabriel Inahosa, FCA, thank you, sir, for being the chief host. And to the Deputy President, Engineer Laeko Bodi, and council members, we want to say a big thank you to you. Also to the MD of Bank of Agriculture, Mr. Awani Ali Hassan, who was ably represented by Mr. Adekone Osho, the Regional Director of Bank of Agriculture. Thank you, sir, for always supporting the Agric Group and the Chamber as a whole, and for being one of our major sponsors. We want to say thank you. We'll say a big thank you to our special guest of honor, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Wolu, who was able to represent at this symposium by the Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture of Lagos State, Mrs. Bisola Olusoya, and the Honorable Commissioner of the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative, Trade and Investment, Lagos State, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary of Mr. Olubenga Ayola. We want to say a big thank you to you. To our distinguished speakers, participants, and exhibitors, we say a big thank you to you. The success of this fair would not have been possible without you. We say thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. With that, we will be officially closing the discussion part there, but the exhibition continues about 7. So you have the time to SPC. Will you please just standing for the national anthem as we close for the day? Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
Oh, so generate the communicate. Oh, now the region
That's not. I mean, they're not the best there. So just trying to You want to keep it for me tomorrow. I want somebody to keep it for me tomorrow.
I can't find it.
You are the guy.